So I was reflecting a little bit on Kundalini and what actually Kundalini is. And almost always we think of Kundalini as an outside force, something other. And for many of us, this other thing is troublesome. It's difficult. And it's difficult because it's forcing our normal human self to grow up, to change, to evolve. And when I say grow up, please don't take offense to that. But God is asking us to do something that is impossible, impossible for our egoic nature. And so maybe growing up is the wrong word. Maybe it's really God is asking us to grow into, to step into something that we don't know is possible, that we don't know is possible. And this game of the spiritual path, it's always a game of identification. If we identify with that which is lesser, that which is small, that which is old and habitual, then we will surely suffer on the spiritual path. We will surely suffer. The demand from Kundalini is that you know yourself as something great. Something great is the demand of Kundalini. That you know yourself as something great. Something great. Now, most of us, we know ourselves as an ego. An ego has a certain way of doing things, a certain way of being in this world. And this Kundalini is here to disrupt that, to really disrupt this. And one of the ways that I'm going to invite us to look at this today is in the form of power. So if we could imagine Kundalini as being this great power of divinity that's flowing through us, instead of looking at ourselves as I am an isolated individual ego and this thing Kundalini is happening to me and I don't like it because it's asking me to change. If you saw yourself instead as the Kundalini, as this force of light, well, that changes everything. And the reason God has chosen you, has chosen each of you, God has chosen to wake up in each of you. Well, why is that? God has faith in us. Now, most of us, we don't have faith in our own self. We have faith in our ego and our ego identity. And what's our ego identity made up of? It's made up of our past. It's made up of all the internalized voices of your parents, of mom and dad. And I want you to imagine that your ego holds on to the internalized voice of your mother and father. Now, if we can all remember back to when we were teenagers, we wanted to get rid of mom and dad. We wanted to be different than them. But as we get a little bit older on the path, it's funny. Human beings, they fight to hold on to voices of unworthiness, of self-hatred, of blame, of wrong. Like we hold on to the wrong thing on the spiritual path. And it's silly. It's really silly. It's really silly. When I was young, I realized I had an internalized voice of my father who was like a drill sergeant, just like someone who would just like yell at you to hurry up and work. And I held on to this voice. I said, this is what I am. I am this voice. And the way it showed up is in this really disciplined way. And I said, see, like this is a good thing. I can be really disciplined. And the force of Kundalini came forward and asked me to let go of this harsh voice, And I had to choose. Do I want to hold on to a harsh voice and know that is Craig? Or do I want to let go of this and see if something greater will come? Now, the ego is always a great negotiator. It says, I don't want to let go of that because that will mean I'll let go of my discipline and then I'll fall off the path. And it can make a good argument, the ego. Makes great arguments like, just one more cookie. Just give me one more cookie because I need it right now. Tomorrow I'll do the diet or the fast or whatever, the game plan is. But this path of spirituality is inviting you, the thing that you think you are, to die, which that just sounds crazy. Inviting the thing that I think I am to die so that something greater can come. And the whole like Christian imagery like revolves around the whole Christian religion revolves around this image of Jesus on the cross, like someone dying. It's like, that's a crazy image. But in the realm of spirituality, it's the old, the ego, the body, the form dying so that something greater can come. And it's this question, this eternal question will come up on our path. Do you have faith in the thing that is greater? Or do you have faith in the thing that you have right now that's kind of working, but not really? Like unworthiness, it kind of works, but it really doesn't work. It holds us back. It holds us back. This force of Kundalini is here to show you that you are God, that you are divine, that you are the Christ, that you are the light, you are the love, you are the truth, you are the compassion, you are this movement of forgiveness, you are this space of surrender, you are the space of love. And so I'm going to invite us all to close our eyes. And I want you to see if you can join me in this recognition that you are a divine being, that you are this light, not the ego with all its memory and its habit and all its behaviors, and addictions or whatever it is, but rather that you are the light, that you are the light. And as you stand in the light, as you feel this column of light radiating from above your head all the way down throughout the body, the heart, the solar plexus, the hara, the root, I invite you to ask yourself, are you holding yourself back? In what ways are you holding yourself back? In what ways do you hold yourself back? And then let's ask why. Why would you hold yourself back? Why do you block your power? And to make that real simple on the path of Kundalini Awakening, if you feel pressure or a blockage in your heart, in your throat, in your solar plexus, I invite you to see right here in this moment why, how do you resist becoming the light? What are the ways in which you veil the light? What are the ways? And if you need a clue, if you need a little bit of insight, again, we're just looking for the places where energy gets stuck in your body. The places that energy gets stuck are places where you are blocking your power. You hold yourself back. And for some of you, you don't even know you're doing it. It's happening unconsciously. And so, if that's you, quickly forgive you. But let's see the unconsciousness. Let's welcome it into the light. The ways you block your power. Sometimes we dismiss it. Sometimes we don't know that we're allowed to be powerful. Often because our parents or our teachers told us to settle down. They told us to be quiet, to sit still. Or maybe if we were bright once upon a time, we might have gotten bullied on the playground because someone was jealous. But now that we're adults, I'm going to invite us to consciously ask, how and why do I block my power? What are the ways? How do I do this? I could also ask, is it the truth for you to block your power? And of course, you know the answer to that. It's not the truth. It's not the truth. Now, when you were a child, you may needed to do this to keep yourself safe on the playground or in your house. Sometimes we can't be too big in our own little home when we're kids. But now that you have your own home, can you stand in your truth and in your power? And so you're feeling throughout your body, feeling throughout the chakra centers, and noticing the places that are resistant to this Kundalini, which is a resistance to you being the light, which is a fear of you being in the world. And we're giving ourselves permission to cast that fear off. And to say, no, I'm willing to be the light. I am the light. I am the light. And so I invite you to imagine taking some steps into the world as the light. And I want you to notice if there's something that comes up, if there's a fear that comes forward. A way we hold ourselves back. Maybe we need to ask a different question, like, what would I have to change in order to become this light that I am? What would I have to give up or surrender? What could I give up? Like, what do I need to give up? And again, there's no space in this inquiry for judgment. Lots of space for humility, curiosity. As we're breathing in and breathing out. What would I have to change? What do I need to change? in order to step into this light, to support this light. Allowing yourself to be humble and to be honest. Some of us, we have a really long and dramatic story. And we need to be willing to change that story and say, hey, there's a different way of being. Some of us have like a righteous anger about what has happened to us here on planet Earth. And the ego will tell you, you have every right to be angry. I'll tell you, like from the world of psychology, you have every right to be angry. But I'll tell you from the world of spirituality, if you want to be free, if you want to be the light, if you want your life to change, if you're ready for your life to change, if you're ready for something greater to come online, we have to be willing to surrender that which is old, that which is dead, that which is past, letting the past be the past. Cannot be a victim and be the light. Doesn't work that way. Can't be unworthy and be the light. It doesn't work that way. You can't think you're better than everybody and be the light. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Can you see a seat for you at the table of life where you are radiant, where you are loving, where you are free, where you are big and bright, where you are joyous, where you are equanimous, where you are compassionate. Can you see yourself seated at the table of life? Where you are bright and vibrant, happy and free. And if we get a big fat no, let's begin just to work with surrendering the no, surrendering the resistance, surrendering our old identity so that we may know ourselves as this vibrant light, this truth and this power and this divinity that you are, that God has made you to be. So breathing and feeling. And again, let's just gently scan and just see if there's any cobwebs in the space of the mind. Cobwebs are limiting beliefs, old places that we're holding on. Sometimes we hold on to being right. We'd rather be right than be free. We'd rather be right than be loving. And so can we humbly look in the space of the third eye? What are the cobwebs, the thoughts? For some of us, it's, I ruined my life back in 1982. We're still holding on to that. And somehow we continue to live. Maybe our life isn't ruined. Maybe we just thought it was ruined. Some of us hold on to this idea that we made a mistake instead of acknowledging we did the best we could at the moment. Some of us are holding on to others made mistakes and they're not allowed to make mistakes. And Kundalini wants you to live in the truth. And the truth is, in this world, you will make mistakes and others will make mistakes. So we're breathing, we're feeling, we're noticing. Do I have cobwebs in my consciousness? The space of my mind? Am I holding on to beliefs and stories that are not true? Do I fight with reality? And if this is the case, this Kundalini Shakti will have a very difficult time integrating, awakening, radiating throughout our being if we hold on to the past. Breathing, feeling, softening, surrendering the past, feeling into the throat chakra area, the jaw, the throat, and noticing, do we have judgment here, harshness here? Do we have lots of shoulds here? Can we surrender the shoulds? Can we surrender the judgments? Can we let go of these cobwebs? Feeling down to the heart chakra. Many of us have lots of old pain and heartache in the heart. Perhaps a feeling of not being loved or not being lovable, not being worthy of love. Can we invite love in? Can we invite love in? Through the power of prayer, through the power of openness, the power of willingness to sit, to breathe, to feel, to open. I invite love and joy and kindness and compassion into the space of this heart. I'm inviting joy to triumph over darkness. Joy to triumph over heartache. Inviting love, compassion, forgiveness to clear out the heart. That this Kundalini Shakti can shine and radiate with great love in the heart. Emptiness, peace, and clarity in the space of the mind. Breathing, feeling, softening, trusting in love. Letting go of resentment. Letting go of past hurt. Forgiving oneself for being human. Acknowledging oneself is divine. Is divine. We are divine beings growing in this earthly realm, evolving, being challenged in this earthly realm. Feeling down into the solar plexus, and again, really looking at those power questions. Have I forgotten my power? Do I feel separated from my power? Have I given up my power? Have I given away my power? Have I forgotten my power? Was my power bullied or squashed? Now's the time, now's the day, now's the moment for my power to be resurrected. Am I blocking my own power? And if so, can we make the choice to stand in the truth, to stand in the light, to be the radiance, to embody the Christ, to allow Kundalini Shakti to flow through in and throughout your being, through in and throughout your life, through in and throughout your life. And so let us take a moment to commit ourselves to standing in the truth, to being the light, always being the light, always becoming the light. I commit to always being the light. And where I drop the ball in my evolving edge, always becoming the light. This is the truth of Kundalini Shakti. This is the truth of your nature. Okay. So you can gently open your eyes. I welcome you, awakening light beings, into this world, into this space.